Hi, I'm Paul Brodie. I know you know that. Mitch behind the camera, as usual. I got my flag. I support Ukraine, and I tried to buy a flag. Mitch tried to buy one as well, couldn't find one, so I went to the dollar store, and the blue sheet was 75 cents. The neon yellow, which is all they had basically, was $1. So I spent $1.75, and you can see how much I used to make one flag. So if you want to make flags, that'd be cool. This is just, that's a chopstick. I had it in my kitchen. Hasn't everybody got a chopstick? And I used, here's my special tools. Pretty high tech. But I was thinking if everybody made a flag, or if they made a few of them, handed them out to neighbors and friends, that'd be a great show of support. So here we are. What I want to do now is working on the cub. So this is what's new. If you look right here, see this plate? This is new. The old plate was kind of on the skinny side. It started out as 1/4 inch. This started out as 3/8, so it sinks down more. So when I take my oil seal and put it in there, can you see how that's going to fit really nicely? I drill holes in here. I got 6 evenly spaced holes, and I have to drill through into the case, and I have to tap them, and I want to add a backing ring behind, because this metal is about as thick as this metal. So yeah, you can see how thick it is. I want to add an extra ring around there of aluminum, and I'm going to bond it in, then drill the holes and tap them, so that'll be more secure. On the menu today, we have new bearings. So on this bearing here, I've got access. Can you see how I can put some force on this and either hammer in something or use the arbor press? But on the right side bearing, it's shrouded. You see that? I can't get in there. So there's probably a special puller, but I don't have it. So I made up a plug. The plug is gonna fit down like that. I'm gonna TIG weld around that, and then I can knock it out. Make sense? Okay. Something else that's gonna happen is, here's the cam bushing, and it's got some damage to it, but if you look over here, this is how it goes. Can you see that? That's excessive play. So I got bushing material here. We're gonna knock out that. We can do that right now, because I made up a driver. I'll call that a driver. It fits right in there. There we go. Can you see how it's got some damage? I don't know, have no idea what happened there, but anyway, this piece, look at that, it's the right size. We're gonna make up a little bushing out of this. Also, the case has some damage. It looks like the chain has come off. Can you see all those marks there? And then when we look inside, oh, look at that, I even circled it. There's a crack there. So we're gonna use some of that Pratley steel, and I'm gonna grind out this a little bit, and we're gonna fill that up with some epoxy, and that should solve that problem. These bearings here, which go in there, they still have the seals on. In an engine, you don't want the seals on there, so what we're gonna do is to pop off the seals. I take a knife, it's not super sharp. You can see how you pop the seals out? And see all the grease? All that grease has to get washed out. So that's one of the things we're gonna do. So I would like you to know that I have gloves on. We are outside, we are in a well-ventilated area, so safety third. I'm just washing out all the grease here, because these go into an engine. You don't want grease running around mixing with oil. You just want oil inside a motor. All that hammering you hear in the background, that's my neighbor building a huge shop that's going to block all my evening sunlight. Not very happy about that. This insert that I'm putting in there, it's made out of mild steel, but the actual bearing race is very hard steel with a high carbon, so I'm using a stainless welding rod because a stainless rod is good for welding onto very hard metal. Let's see how it works. That's what we're going to make. I'm going to put some sizes down. So 587, that's the total length. This is how I make a quick sketch. 63 thou. So the bore is going to be basically this size here. That's 558, 5. So if we go for 560, 561, so we go for 560, we'll go for a plus 001, that's 1 thou, minus nothing. So there's a tolerance. That's a tolerance of 1 thou. So, because what's going to happen is when we install this, it's going to make the ID smaller. So you have to allow for that. So maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to measure the case now, and then we'll see what size it needs to be. So I think on the press fit, we're going to need somewhere between 1/2 thou and 1 thou. That's what I'm thinking. So we are at 7185. So I think this should be 719. Let's just check. Okay, so this came out a little bit loose. It wasn't tight. Oh, look at that, 717. So way loose. So yeah, if we go 719, that should be a pretty good fit. Okay, let's go make a bushing then. I'm going to face the end. We're going to bore a hole, rough the outside. That's normally how you do things. You don't just work on the outside and get the finished OD and then start on the inside. You usually, this is how I was taught. You rough the OD, rough the ID, finish the OD, finish the ID. That's a better way of doing things. Here we go. Okay, so can you see that? It's a little, can you see it's a little snug? There's basically no play. So we definitely need to take out a little bit more metal. And it's probably good to err on the side of caution and let oil fill it up. So it's kind of a feel thing at this point. There we go. So we have a little bit of slack, but what's going to happen is when we install this, when we install the bushing, it's going to squeeze in. So I think we'll leave it like that. So there you have it. There's the old bushing, looking a bit beat up, and a brand new bushing. Got the bushing, got the driver. Always good to have the proper driver. Okay. That's got a pretty nice fit there. Going in. It wasn't super tight, but it wasn't loose either. We're going to see how the cam fits into the new bushing. Oh, look at that. And there's a little bit of play there. Okay, I'm very happy with that. So what we're going to do now is to heat up the case. We're going to knock out the bearings. Oh. It takes a little while for the flame to settle down when you first light up a torch if you haven't used it for a while. So I'm not going to make it super hot, but just a couple hundred degrees. That's what I'm told. Always keep the torch moving. Never hold it in one spot if you're just preheating. Okay, I'm going to say that's got some heat into it. Not huge, but let's see what happens. There we go. Do you see here? I've got a socket. See that? That's a nice fit in there. Okay, let's see what happens here. Oh. Ho hum. That's not. Gee, these bearings are all standard sizes too, so. I guess I got the case pretty warm. Not that warm. No, it's not moving, so it must be in there. Okay, so that's one done. Okay, so we're going to heat up this case now, and we'll change these two bearings. So this is the plug that got welded in. And that worked pretty nicely too. There it is. It goes in there pretty easy. It's not like a huge press fit at all. Okay, so that went in with a little bit more force, although this is not super hot right now. Okay, here's the oil seal, and you might think that it goes like so, but the oil seal is designed to keep oil in this way. So in this particular oil seal, I'm told that it goes this way because it has to keep the oil in the chain case, in the primary chain case, out of the crankcase. So that's the way we're going to put that in. So we're going to use a little bit of grease just to help it slide into place. We'll go back to the arbor press. Arbor press is a good friend today. We are centered up. Oh, look at that. Arbor press beats a hammer. Okay, that's in. If I measure with my vernier, see that? It goes down to the end of the metal there. I was told that because these oil seals are so thin, you use a couple of them, but look at that. There's not room there, so I think I'm just going to use one seal. One seal will have to do. There we go. Okay, oil seals installed. Very nice. I got my Prattley seal. Comes from South Africa. I bought it ages ago. On aluminum, it works very, very well. So I'm just going to mix some up and it's just going to settle right in there. Should be very nice. You mix it equal parts, 1 to 1. It hardens up in about 4 or 5 minutes, and after 4 hours it's set. Heat also helps it to set. So, and after you put it on, if you take a rag with some lacquer thinner, you can smooth it as well. It machines okay, files. It's kind of neat stuff. Okay, see this? This is lacquer thinner now. It allows the palette knife to slide over top and not pick up. So it's a little bit like acetone and fiberglass, kind of working the same way. And the lacquer thinner doesn't hurt the epoxy, because I've done this a few times. That's smoothed over there pretty nicely, and when that sets up, it just has to stop oil from coming out. That's the only concern. It's not structural or anything like that. I need a part. I'm asking for your help. E4551, a timing pinion. It's this gear. This is the gear that works the camshaft. It drives the cam. And obviously I have one, but when I look closely, it's got a lot of little pit marks in there. See all this? See all the rust? And I can feel it, how it's in the surface. So I need one. I'm willing to pay for it, or trade, or whatever. That would be fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thanks for hanging out in the shop here. Mitch and I like coffee. If you buy us coffees, much appreciated. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you later. See you next time.